isn't the word for this? What the hell is Dakota Kai doing here?
You got me, Corey. I have no clue.
Dakota Kai tweeted in a now deleted tweet saying, "I miss wrestling and I miss you guys," also stating that she isn't injured. And a matter of days later, she would be fired in the latest round of releases in WWE. To which I say, man, this one hurts. She joins the likes of Braun Strowman, Shayna Baszler, Cora Jade, and Kai's partner Eddie Thorpe, who were also just released, among others. Her extended time off TV made no sense if she's cleared and able to wrestle. While I love Julia, Roxanne, and Stephanie Vaquera, Raw has focused a lot lately on appearances by NXT talent, so not using Kai seemed strange. She last appeared on WWE programming during the March 17th episode of Monday Night Raw, where she picked up a win against Ivy Nile.
And down, got her! GTK by Dakota Kai in the win!
She followed that up with another victory over Nile on the March 24th edition of Main Event, which would ultimately be her final match in a WWE ring. Dakota tweeted a final "here we go again" right after the news broke of her release. Now, just a couple days ago, seemingly Dakota was gearing up for a comeback to the ring. She had just revealed her fresh curls, she was looking good, and now it's over. Nikita Lyons is still gainfully employed, by the way. Recently, Nick Khan said WWE doesn't bench people, so Dakota's absence was already a little weird. He said during an interview in what was speculated to be a subtle shot at AEW that WWE didn't do that. They wouldn't sign or keep wrestlers on the roster to simply not use them. Yet that's exactly what they've done with Dakota Kai and so many others over the years. Seemingly, WWE had plans for Dakota Kai, utilizing her well in the IC title tournament and then giving up somewhere along the way. You could argue that the reason Dakota wasn't being used on TV was because all of Damage Control wasn't fully healthy, but I don't buy it. Asuka and Kairi are out, but Io is still the world champion, so you could have even had her back Io instead of Rhea Ripley at some point. The hope initially was that since Asuka and Kairi will be healthy again soon, that this would theoretically bring back Kai as well. The one positive here is that Dakota Kai has already gained interest from outside companies and top agents in professional wrestling following her release from WWE. As you would expect, Kai is going to have plenty of offers. WWE may not have seen through the tall grass, but the independent scene just caught themselves an Evie. When Dakota Kai shows up in DPW. Now, on a grander scale, almost every single one of these latest releases is so unwarranted. And I fear that with the way TKO and WWE are moving, this is a trend we will see again and again. The reason I say that is because WWE is known for hoarding talent at this point. They can go ahead and say they don't bench people, but they do. The countless names WWE has signed to only realize, okay, we either don't know how to book this person, or we just don't have the time, so enjoy the catering. I'd like to present to the court now the 2019 case of Ethan Carter III. I was really surprised to see the likes of Braun Strowman be released too. I'm not the biggest Braun fan in the world, but he's spent his entire comeback run making others look like monsters, and this is what you do to him? You look at guys like Jacob Fatu or Bronson Reed, who were made men after Strowman interactions.
Easy go golf cart. The monster of all.
And not to mention, Braun Strowman was kind of involved in the US title picture very recently as well, so it's even more bizarre. A lot of these releases are either inactive storylines on TV or they were. It's a very weird group of releases. One that was almost foreshadowed was Jakara Jackson. Of course, a part of metaphor until this past week on NXT when an ominous segment saw all four members parting ways.
And if it means that we need to go our separate ways to be the stars that we know we are, then that's a move.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Last time.
Come on.
5, 6,
And no matter what, we'll always be M4L.
Always. I love you all.
I love you guys.
Which is really weird because you guys just got Noam Dar back. He won the Heritage Cup. The Meta Girls were down in TNA doing things. Oro Mensah was on Evolve. They were all doing things. And now Oro Mensah is released as well. You just said, hey, we had this faction that could have been something more than they already were. Badass entrance, and now they're gone. Getting rid of Jakara is nasty, nasty work, man. I don't care. You cannot tell me that this bombshell, this talented woman right here, isn't someone you can turn into a star.
Double team. There's Cutter, that move brought them a great deal of success. Will it bring the tag gold tonight?
Have I mentioned that No Knees Nikita is still employed? I can't believe we're never gonna see the Metaphor entrance on main roster, man. And at the bare minimum, you should have kept the Meta Girls together. I can't believe they would split them up. And in seeing that segment on NXT, I kind of just assumed, okay, maybe they see value in all of these guys as singles competitors, because Jakara and Lash could absolutely be singles competitors. They're great as a team, but they're both incredibly talented on their own. Noam Dar's been stuck in NXT purgatory for what feels like 3 presidential terms. And Oro Mensah being brought over from NXT UK, rest in peace, he was doing his thing as well, so it is really weird. In a world where you lack true women's tag teams, releasing Kaden Carter and Katana Chance is terrible as well. You essentially just destroyed 3 women's tag teams you could have had on main roster because no Meta Girls, no Kaden and Katana, and no Cora and Roxanne either.
And Julie is here, the former NXT Women's Champion.
It would have made far more sense to use Julia elsewhere and have Cora be the one with Roxanne on main. The story is already built in. Gigi Dolan was also released after being on TV this week as well, meaning another tag team is gone. Where's Shotzi Blackheart? Is she okay? Is she alright? Gigi's release is also mind-boggling because not only did you just establish Chemical X as a new group, but you just had Gigi and Tatum fighting for the tag titles on NXT. You just had them on Raw. It's so bizarre. Because not only did you just release her tag partner, but you released her life partner, Big Body Harvey, too. Gigi, much like Jakara, is someone you could have had in the mid-card on Raw or SmackDown. You did not need to release her. Same with Isla Dawn a few months ago. You could have easily found a slot for all of them. Eddie Thorpe being in this round of releases is one as well that certainly doesn't sit right with me. He was just winning on NXT PLEs and then boom, he's gone.
Right back around. Thorpe with a knee of his own, right under the jaw. And Eddie Thorpe just shocks the NXT universe.
Also, releasing Dakota alongside her partner, it's just nasty work, especially when both wrestlers are too talented to not be on a huge stage. And someone else that might be on the chopping block soon is NXT's Keanu Carver. He came out in response to those releases and said, "These motherfuckers ain't ready for this. They beating these Samoan motherfuckers who think they like that, who be voting for Trump and ain't really like that." I mean, he's not wrong. By the year 2030, WWE is going to be like 70% Samoan Dynasty. In completely unrelated news, Mercedes Moné announced that you can become text buddies with her for just $100 a month. Just $100 a month, huh? Mercedes Moné, send Bob. And Shayna Baszler is one of these releases for me where it really stings, because we could see it coming a mile away and it did not need to be this way. Ever since WrestleMania 36, when she lost to Becky Lynch and should have absolutely won, it's been downhill since then. Even crazier when you read Becky's book with her saying she vehemently begged and pushed for the idea of putting Shayna over at Mania, but they did not listen. Becky was already pregnant by the time Mania rolled around and she knew she was gonna be going, so why wouldn't you just put Shayna over and put the title on her? Sure, Shayna's had moments here and there, but the mystique and the star power that she had as NXT Women's Champion was never the same post main roster call-up. She was out here snapping limbs and having such bangers that she made Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir look like stars just by being in her presence. She came into that first elimination chamber of hers and just ran through everybody, to which I see people saying, well, of course they didn't push her after the chamber, it was silent when she won. Let's be honest, if you just go ahead and book a relative unknown to this crowd to destroy everyone without the proper build, of course they're not gonna react.
Sarah Logan has been eliminated.
For the clutch, tap out by Riot.
But Shayna tweeted last night after her release saying, "No one can offer what I have to offer. Reality. Let the galaxy burn." A sorely underrated wrestler and someone who absolutely deserves a killer run to restore what made her so great many years ago. While I don't necessarily want to go ahead and push for everybody that gets released from WWE to say, hey Tony, this might be one of those releases where I'd really like to see her mix it up with the AEW roster. Although now that I'm saying that, Shayna joining AEW would mean the Death Riders wouldn't end anytime soon. Oh no. This is all gonna end somehow, some way with the 4 horsewomen of MMA being in AEW. I can just feel it. Jokes aside, it's never fun when someone loses their livelihood, but I think the majority of these releases will be okay. There's a ton of opportunity outside of WWE and even AEW to still make a living from professional wrestling. I think the indie god Matt Cardona responded to all of these releases in the best way by saying, to the recently released, you have 3 choices. 1, fade into obscurity. 2, coast off your WWE name. 3, work your ass off, reinvent yourself, make a lot of money, and have a lot of fun.